What's guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we are starting a brand new show, and the first brand new show of the summer 2021 season. This is Peach Boy Riverside. Episode 1 title here is The Ex-Princess and the Hair Folk. Hair as in the rabbit-like creatures, rather than the actual, head of hair and stuff like that. So yeah, we're starting off the new season. We've got two shows starting today, and that kicks off our summer season. I'm very excited, obviously, because the spring season went by so quick. We still have a couple of shows continuing on, such as To Your Eternity. Song of Spider So What's finale is meant to be coming this weekend, I believe. And then we have, what else? Oh, Shadow's House is finishing this weekend as well. So we still got a couple of layovers from the previous season, but we got a lot of new shows to go through. If you've seen my preview video, you'll already know what shows I'm kind of interested in, how I feel about certain shows, including this one. But for its more focused video, and because there's likelihood of a newer audience coming in to see this show and see how I am as a reactor to this show, if they enjoy my reactions to it, if they think I'm insufferable, things like that. If you are new, hi, welcome. I'm a British guy who reacts to seasonal anime. This is my 7th season of doing this now. We've done 6 full seasons now of this, a year and a half, which is crazy to me that we've been going this long. And since we do seasonal reactions, it means every 3 months like this, we get a whole new set of shows that we can watch along weekly. And this is the first one, Peach Boy Riverside. To get a feel for the show, because I do have a busy schedule, an increasingly busy schedule, unfortunately. I have to be somewhat critical of shows from an early point, and I've always done this whenever I picked out anime to watch in my spare time before the channel. I would load up the AniList page, or back then it was the Mal page, but I switched to AniList last year. To go over the shows, take a look at what they are about, like the brief synopsis of it, some of the tags, the studio doing it, and maybe some of the VA cast if they jump out at me, things like that. Just get a feel for the show and have some level of expectation going in, so that I can make a snap judgment of, do I want to continue this show or not? Typically, I will never really judge a show on its first episode alone, unless it's just that bad, like, I don't know, X-Arm, for example. That's always going to be the go-to answer for terrible anime now, I think, unfortunately. So at least they achieved something with the run of the series. Other than becoming a giant meme, of course. But yeah, we're going to load the analyst page up and have a look at what we've got to work with here. So if you don't want to see any of this bit, if you go to the description of the video, or if you're on PC, you can look at the timeline for this video. You can see it segmented into when the actual reaction starts and when my discussion starts like that. So you can use that to go around the video if you don't want to hear any of this extra bit here. Although I do recommend sticking around if this is your first time watching my channel, because I explain a little bit of how my reaction format works and stuff as well. So anyway, load the analyst page up here. This is Peach Boy Riverside. Salvarine Alderake, princess of the Kingdom of Alderake, dreams of traveling the world. A dangerous dream in a land where monsters roam the countryside as they please, and humans live behind high, strong walls. So, very closed-off societies. It probably makes travel between them, obviously, very dangerous. I wonder if merchants are even that frequently traveling. If they travel in huge, groups and convoys, that would make the most sense to me. You want to go in numbers in that instance, so whilst it would be a bigger target and a more enticing target for whatever was out there, you'd at least have much more to fight back with in that instance. So I assume, protecting merchants on travels, which is a very common trope in fantasy, I'm sure that's going to be very prevalent here as well. But I'm kind of curious to see where they go with that. Also, just hiding behind walls would imply that there's not a super strong flying threat in this world. So maybe there's not too much in the way of dragons or wyverns or something like that. That could be a real problem in that sense. Or if they are confident enough that they can defend against them with archers and stuff, I don't know. But when a chance meeting with traveler Mikoto gives hope to her dream, he shatters it soon after as he reveals himself to be none other than Momotaro, ruthless demon slayer. Okay. Though horrified by the gore Momotaro leaves behind, Salvarine is convinced more than ever that she needs to learn about the world beyond her walls, and journeys out, following the steps of the mysterious, charismatic, terrifying boy she met that day. Now, I'm fairly certain, and this kind of confirms, that this is the boy they're referring to. Doesn't look like a boy, so I don't know if that's going to be a reveal for the episode. It's it's one of those typical things of, especially it happens with very young characters, the girls being identified as a boy and just then they're like, wait, you're that boy that I used to play around with when I was a kid? Like, those types of reveals. I wouldn't be surprised if that sort of thing happened. These designs are very generic, by the way. I'm just going to pull the image up here. These are very generic designs. Like, this is a very generic main character outfit, very generic, like, outfit. That's just a guy in a shirt and trousers. Like, there's nothing special about him. Like, he doesn't seem like he's from a fantasy world. He just seems like he just popped out for some milk or something. Typical nun. All in all, I'm just not, like, blown away by anything. This, I want to know what's the story behind this. There's our elf. Obviously, yep. So, our enemies, question mark, seem interesting. I want to know about this tree. I want to know what the deal with the tree is, because that's terrifying. But all in all, it doesn't look that great at first glance. Voice acting cast, we have Mao. That's the only name that really sticks out to me here. I do not necessarily recognize these names at the drop of a hat. It might become more obvious when I hear them. But this is by Studio Asahi Production, who I first experienced with Heaven's Design Team here. This is the first show I watched from them. They have done a lot of other stuff in the past, but I've never watched any of this stuff, and apparently they were, I'm going to guess, a producer on One Piece at one point. They probably weren't animating on it, but maybe they have. I mean, 981 episodes, you might have been animating some of it, but they have a long history. But I've only seen their more recent stuff in the form of Heaven's Design Team. And this was a good-looking show. It was very cute in its style, which considering this one mentioned gore, right? Horrified by the gore he leaves behind. I'm curious how they're going to show the gore, because I don't think this is any sort of special time slots for Japanese anime, as far as I'm aware. I don't think there's anything special about its timing. I think it's just in a regular TV time slot, so I don't know how much of the gore they can necessarily show on Japanese TV. I don't think the streaming services are getting a special version or anything like that. I assume that the Blu-ray version will probably uncensor some of the gore if they're really going to go into the gore. But I guess we have to wait and see on that one. But it is a prevalent tag, so I am assuming we're going to get a fair bit of it. Demons, protagonists, harem apparently, sure. Some spoiler tags, which means we're going to have some interesting turns in this story, which would be nice. This visual I do really like, though, because it implies a little bit, and I'm like, some craziness to a character, I can get behind that. Some crazy, like, yandere types, I could get behind that. But whether it's going to be the case or not. And this is actually the thing I want to point out more than anything. This is by Kulkyo Shinja, doing the original story of this. Some of you may recognize that name as the creator of Dragon Maid. Like, that doesn't seem right, does it? Like, that doesn't seem like it should track. But it does. Also, I can't understand what my husband is saying, which is a series I actually kind of want to check out at some point. I do want to check that out. But yeah, I just learnt that today in preparation for this show. I was like, wait, really? I did not expect that overlap going into this one. The fact that it's getting recommended with Shield Hero says something. I don't think it's going to be quite like Shield Hero in that aspect, but maybe we will see. All in all, I'm interested, very, very interested. The art style concerns me, just because these are very generic designs, a very generic poster, but the thing with Heaven's Design Team is they weren't very action-packed. I don't know if this is going to be necessarily an action-packed show. It's adventure fantasy, but I don't know how action-packed it will go in that regard, and how much it will focus on like fight choreography and things like that. So, I guess we'll see. I think that's about all I can really say. We're going to load the episode up here and get right on into it. So, as per usual on the channel, we do timer-based format reactions, which means at the bottom left, bottom left of the screen, you'll see a timer for the episode. I will count you down 3, 2, 1, play. Then on play, you start the episode, I start the episode, and we should be in sync. There'll be no audio or video from the original material on this one, obviously, for copyright reasons. So you'll need to go to Crunchyroll in this instance, since this is who has licensed it here in the West, or wherever you get your anime from in order to watch along with me. The other option to that is my Patreon, in which I can provide picture-in-picture versions. For £4 a month, you can go to my Patreon and find that. These picture-in-picture versions usually go up a few hours, or hopefully a lot sooner than when these main episodes go live on YouTube. And we also do Patreon request shows such as World Trigger, Symphogear G, and Lord Crisis Season 2. We'll be moving on to Symphogear GX, I think was the third season, something like that. Very, very soon as well, since we're just wrapping up that one. And yeah, to help you sync up here on the YouTube version, usually if there's logos at the beginning, which they always is on the Funimation shows, I'll use those, but for something like this, you can use the screen flash that's on my face, the mic, or this part of my headset here to tell when the scenes are transitioning. This is quite a reflective part of my headset, so you should be able to tell when, especially darker to light scene transitions and stuff like that. If we get the OP in the first few minutes, I will call that out as well. It's entirely possible they might leave the OP for like the ED of this episode, and it's a fairly common thing to do for a show starter, but I guess we will see. So, with all that said, let's kick off the summer season with the first episode of Peach Boy Riverside in 3, 2, 1, play. Oh, we're just starting off with this, okay. Was that his stomach rumbling? I think it was. Volume up? Yes, it is. Okay. Not a princess anymore, okay. Okay. Frau, okay. Hairfolk, yep. That makes sense. Yep. It's quite the drawing. Adorable. Yes. Gonna follow? Yep. Carrot debt. Okay. The ex-princess and the hairfolk. So yeah, it looks like we're not going to have the OP this time. We'll have it at the end, probably. Carrot debt. That's true. But the village is not behind a wall. Interesting. Not fans of demi-humans. A little bit. Okay. There's a divide between humans and demi-humans in this world, or at least in this village. Wonder what caused that. Probably a war at some point. That the humans probably started. I mean, let's be real. Okay. Sneak in, alright. Mm-hmm. Uh-oh. A lot of carrots. I don't know if that disguise is necessarily enough, or if he's just a nice guy. I wonder. Local law. Oh, okay. Hmm. You think? Okay. Hmm. I'm guessing our other protagonist probably helps deal with that. Don't have the big protection of the cities, I suppose. Yeah. Okay. Hmm. Not quite. Hmm. Still chasing. Welcome all travelers. Even demi-humans. Hmm. Hmm. What's the history of this place? Definitely a history. Oh, interesting. I don't know if that's true. Or is that just or is that just something that's been imprinted in them for so long that they just believe it intrinsically? I wonder. It's possible that she's an exception, but now you're doubting it. I don't think you're going to be able to ditch her that easily. That sounded demonic. It's a chicken. Oh, that's an ogre? We have chicken ogres now? Okay. Or rooster? Chicken rooster, whatever. There's some very interesting designs here. What? What? Hard to take this enemy seriously. But Frau's intervening now. I mean, if you just stand there, yes, maybe. Nice. Nice kick. Cool. Who's this watching on? Hmm. Yeah, they focus on its power rather than the fact they just helped you. Yeah. They spin the narrative to suit it. They have no intention of changing, yeah. Hmm. So yeah, remember this savagery you were talking about? Oh, you want to stop it? Yeah, it did. So, might take some time, but okay. That's a Rimdal, okay. Oh boy. The Northern Empire, Kingdom of Rimdal, okay. What have you been arrested for? Again, the perception on demi-humans, yeah. Okay. Not a bad guy. Awful one, okay. They saw what happened. Mm-hmm. Well, barefooted, but excuse me. Because they slayed it harefooted. No, I'll stop. Used to be, yes. So we're protecting. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That it is. A knight can understand that. So what caused that perception in the beginning? I feel like that could be a story thread that the show will probably explore. Like I said, put a fiver on the fact that it was the humans that started this rumor in the first place. Hmm. Okay. Nice. Still hungry. Hmm. Now they're trying to milk it for whatever they can get out of it. Okay. I love how quickly they're on the same wavelength. Yeah, and now we're in actual kingdom with walls and stuff. Lovely. Excuse me, what? Did we just cut to a different show entirely? Did we just cut to a hentai real quick just to show a previous live or something? What? Uh, hmm. Uh. Hmm. Then why aren't you? High Ogre of the East, okay. Kishin, okay. Warless Ogre of the North. So Ogre is just like a type, and there's a bunch of, well, it's a classification, there's many types. Oh, hello. Oh, hello. That's creepy, I don't like it. Like, I really like it, but I don't like it. Uh-oh. Jesus Christ, well. Holy shit, okay. Well then, we just killed 2 kids. Well, I think we killed more than 2 kids, to be fair, but... Holy shit. Yeah, something tells me walls aren't that effective. Okay, of course. Mm-hmm. Oh, nice. Yeah, this show's definitely being gory. I like it. Oh, just bitch slap their torsos off. I love it. He's just missed. Oh boy. What's with this glow in the eye? I'm curious. Something more than defiance. Did that actually do anything? Just took it. Snapped out of it again. Why do you get to this point every time you see an ogre? Mm-hmm. One that willingly protects them. All comes back to character. Mm-hmm. Yes. Good luck with that. Uh-oh. Whereas you've got all the power, but you don't have that that was easy. Hmm. Okay. And this is when... Jesus. Mm-hmm. There's that feeling again. What happens if she just lets it take over? Okay. Okay. Oh, Jesus! What is going on? Okay. 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 I'm guessing this is probably the OP then. Peach Boy Riverside. Now the title makes a bit more sense, I guess. So we didn't introduce that other character just yet. So it was Hawthorne who was Mr. Generic, okay. Next episode, Ogres and Humans. Okay. You know what? Okay. That was an interesting episode. I won't say I was blown away by it overall. This isn't like it's suddenly jumping to like my favorite show of the season or anything. This is my only show of the season so far, obviously, so it's not like it's going to jump. It will obviously jump high enough to be the number one because it's the only one I've watched, but that was decent. I can't say anything overly negative about it, really. I still think the designs are a little bit bland. I think they could have been a little more extravagant in some places with that. But really, I don't think it needed to be too extravagant either. Carrot there is one hell of a motivation, I guess. So this whole Peach Boy Riverside thing, is that in taking inspiration from a genuine story? Or is that something that's completely made up? Because when it comes to a lot of like Japanese folk tales or myths and legends and anything around there, obviously I'm not going to know them. And I can't say I've ever heard of Peach Boy. So actually I'm just going to look up what Peach Boy is, just on its own. It is a Japanese hero, okay. Momotaro, hence why that name's used, a popular hero of Japanese folklore. Often translated as Peach Boy. Popular nation is from Okayama Prefecture, but there doesn't seem to be any basis of it. I won't look too much into Momotaro, but it seems like there is something to do with that. Apparently had some... okay. Momotaro, this is a fun little line I just saw, because I saw war propaganda, I was like, what? But no, it's like, there's stuff in the Sino-Japanese War, Russo-Japanese War, and in World War II. Momotaro represented the Japanese government and the enemy states, namely the Allies. Represented the Japanese government and the enemy states, namely the Allies, later including the United States, was symbolized by the Oni, the demonic figure. Interesting. So that's where the demonic idea of Momotaro might have originated from, is from a Western perspective. That's interesting. But yeah, so it looks like the peach is an actual intrinsic point. And so they're implying, I guess, here that Sally is also a Peach Boy, or a Momotaro in that sense. And our other character that we will probably meet next episode if I had to guess, or at least spend some time seeing next episode, is another one. And that explains our crazed look in our eyes and how we suddenly have a huge spike in power. That spike in power was cool. This show definitely is gory. Like, it's utilizing its gore, or as much gore as I think you could probably do on a TV anime in its time slot. I don't think you could go too much more overboard with the gore, really, could you, without running into some maybe issues about that. I don't know how strict or how... I don't actually know how, like, those types of censorship laws work, because obviously when it comes to anything of a sexual nature, it's fairly clear-cut where the lines actually end up being, and obviously anime pushes those lines a lot. But when it comes to, like, gore and, like, body horror, I wonder if there is, like, a set definition of where it goes too far. Because bitch slapping someone's torso off is pretty extreme. I wonder if it's another one of these things of, like... Because I think this was kind of what happens in... I think this also happens in a Western context. But it's more of... You can see the aftermath of what happens and the gore of an aftermath of an event, but you can't watch that gore happen. So, for example, in the bitch slapping of someone's chest off, you can see the bitch slap, but you don't see their torso literally ripping off and seeing the skin tear and the blood gush out, but you can look back on it after the bitch slap, cut away, and see, like, their face of, like, the glee that they've just killed someone, and then go back to the body that's now been bisected. I think there's, like, some stipulations around that might influence how it works, but for Japan, I have no idea what their requirements are. I don't know if they necessarily have, like, a watershed, like, system, because I think in the UK, watershed was, like, always, like, traditionally, 9 PM? Was it 10 PM? I can't remember. I don't even know if Britain still has watershed. It's been that long since I watched TV. I don't know if watershed is actually still a thing, or if it's just, like, a commonly accepted thing. It's like, there's no actual rule on it. It's just kind of accepted that if you're going to do something like that, maybe leave it in a later time slot to avoid kids, I guess. But, yeah, overall, interesting story so far. They're definitely going in on the ogres. I think they're kind of defining as pretty much everything as an ogre at this point. We met... Who did we meet? Was it West and who? Let's see. Let me just get those names back up again. Where were they? So it's East and North, sorry. So Walrus Ogre of the North is Set, who I think we're about to kill off already, or at least severely injure. And then we have the High Ogre of the East, which is Meki, whose canon ability from her eye causes her to revert in age. How long, we don't quite know. Doesn't seem to be too long, because she's stuck around. She didn't just immediately run away or bamf out or anything. She was like, oh, go ahead, I'll be there in a minute. It was kind of her feeling of that. I wonder what would happen if she tried to fire it again while she was in that form, if she just physically couldn't until she reverted back to her normal form. Kind of curious about that. But that does mean we still have 2 more ogres. That would mean we'd have South and West to meet at some point. Judging by the cover photo, I'm assuming that they're going to be them, probably. Although, actually, it's interesting. In the cover photo, our High Ogre, these here, Meki, does not actually have her horn visible. There's 3 other ogres that do have their horns visible. So I'm going to guess these are probably the other ones. We have this big butch-looking dude, and then we have this like navy blue, like more demonic-looking ogre with like the singular eye in the middle and like a metal faceplate. Kind of similar to Promised Neverland's like facial designs in a way, except it only one eye rather than like the multiple eyes that they had in like a line. It's a little different in that aspect, but it's kind of similar. It's what I first thought of anyway. But yeah, interesting start. Not blown away, but I would say a solid 7 out of 10 start for the series. I didn't have much in the way of expectation, but I think it hit exactly what it needed to hit. I think it'll be much better once we start getting some more characters involved, obviously, including Makoto, our other main character. I'm interested to see what happens with them and see what ultimately ends up happening on their journey, if they're going to meet up or if they're going to be like 2 separate journeys or how it's going to work. But yeah, Sally is definitely chasing after Makoto at this point, and I assume we'll catch up at some point and meet and then see what happens. I'm assuming Makoto, judging by that cover image at least, is probably going to have a very similar thing to what Sally has, or maybe Sally has the thing that's similar to Makoto. I think that'll probably be more accurate. As a Peach Boy, I guess, but both of them are women, I think. I think Mikoto's a woman. It's hard to tell. I mean, they say boy just because of, well, the visage, right? But I'm fairly certain that won't be the case. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, that's going to do it for today, guys. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed that one as per usual. Leave a like if you did, as well as your comments what you thought of this first episode. Let me know if this is a series that you had expectations of, if you've seen source material of, and you were excited for. If this has come as a surprise to you as an anime only, and you're like, actually, I really enjoyed this, or that kind of was not really what I'm looking for, please let me know your thoughts down below. And as always, come join the Discord as well. We have a dedicated text channel for this show, as well as all the other shows that we'll be watching here on the summer, as well as general anime chat channels as well, so we can all discuss the shows that we're watching. Don't forget to hit subscribe to see next week's episode. We're definitely giving episode 2 a watch, as well as the rest of the summer 2021 season that is going on here on the channel. Thank you for watching. Till next time. See you guys later.